Hi guys, Charlie here. Humans are capable of building amazing projects that can change the world. But what happens when these mega projects go horribly wrong? From a dam with a design flaw that caused it to fail, to an entire city which has 0 people living in it. These mega projects wasted billions of dollars, caused political turmoil, and even ruined people's lives. Here are some useless mega projects that wasted billions. Forest City, Malaysia. Have you ever wanted to live in a forest, but did not want to have to battle snakes and monkeys every time you went to take out your recycling? Well then maybe consider a move to Malaysia. Forest City in Malaysia was supposed to be a green energy futuristic smart city. The city comprises of 4 islands. The city's ecosystem will be that of an artificial forest. For many years, investors flooded into this city. That's because it was incredibly near to Singapore. Singapore is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. A nearby bridge and a special immigration policy allows people to move freely from Forest City to Singapore. Roads and rooftops will all be jungle themed, and the city will be powered using renewable energy. It is set to be finished in 2035, and so far has cost over $100 billion. The city is complete with apartments, amazing beaches, swimming pools, sports facilities, and even arenas. There are even golf courses and a grand town hall too. But in 2020, the harsh reality of the Forest City set in, and what was presented like a green utopia soon turned into a nightmare. One of the main issues is the project's funding. It is funded almost entirely by China. As part of the deal, Chinese businesses and individuals were able to buy any amount of apartments and houses in the Forest City. So Chinese investors flooded into Malaysia to buy up the Forest City. 80% of the property owners are Chinese, and they don't even live there, they just bought it as an investment. This means that the city is very empty. It also does not seem like Malaysia, more like China. The street signs are in Mandarin, and the schools teach in Mandarin too. This was to attract more Chinese investors. The native Malaysian people can't afford to outbid the Chinese investors. That's because the property prices are set by Chinese standards, not Malaysian standards. This outraged the local community. Some even said the project was like colonialism. But then Malaysia got a new Prime Minister, Mahathir Mohamad. He made a new law making it illegal for foreign people to own property in the Forest City. This caused the foreign investors to leave, but it also dissuaded many Malaysian investors. That's because all of the houses' values went down a lot. So now the Forest City is basically empty. Right now there's less than 500 people living there. To put this into perspective, Forest City was made for 700,000 people. This means the city is only at 0.07% capacity. Also, Country Garden, the company behind Forest City, has laid off more than 1,000 workers since last year. So what was supposed to be a jungle-themed smart city turned out to be a massive waste of money. That's over $100 billion down the drain. VC Summer Nuclear Station. One of the most difficult things to build are nuclear power plants. A lot can go wrong, and a good example of this is VC Summer Nuclear Station in South Carolina. This power plant was scheduled to be built in 2008. 2 massive energy companies invested $9 billion into the project. Construction began in 2013, but already there were tons of delays. But by 2014, there were already major problems. Incompetence and errors caused the construction to be delayed. By 2017, the project was still not finished, and they had spent $25 billion. That is $16 billion more than their budget, and it wasn't even finished yet. This caused various companies to go bankrupt, and a few months later the project was abandoned. It was known as the Nukegate scandal, and so far there have been 3 arrests made. This is because of the fraud and corruption that went on, not only from the companies working on the projects, but from government officials too. There have also been many billion-dollar lawsuits over the failed project. Naypyida Myanmar. In 2002, the government of Myanmar began building a new capital city in secret. It is very unusual for a country to shift their capital city. In 2005, the president of Myanmar revealed his plans, but he kept the name of the city a secret. But it was later revealed as Naypyida. This means the king's residence. Myanmar's old capital city named Yangon was near the sea, and some speculated that they feared an attack from the sea, so they decided to make their new capital city more inland. So far, the new capital city has cost $4 billion. It has pretty much everything any city could ever need. There are many houses, apartments, and hotels. There is a massive 20-lane highway. There are museums, sports stadiums, and golf courses, and even various replicas of landmarks from around Myanmar. The only thing missing is the people. If you go to this capital city, you may assume it's a ghost town. There is absolutely no one living there. But why does no one want to live here? Well, there are barely any jobs or schools. Without any opportunities, no one wants to move here. The city looks incredibly creepy as it's totally deserted. The city has an airport which can handle millions of passengers every year, but only around 10 people actually go inside this airport each day. There are far more staff in the airport than passengers. All of these shops are filled with products but are totally empty. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe and press the bell too. It really does help me out. Oroville Dam. The Oroville Dam can be found in North California, USA. The dam was meant to prevent floods, power California using hydroelectricity, and also be a source of drinkable water for the residents of California. For some years, the dam did work as intended, but in February of 2017, everything changed. In 2017, California experienced some of its worst floods ever. This caused the water levels of the dam to rise dramatically. Eventually, the dam began to overflow, going over the emergency spill line. The base of the dam then began to erode. There was a serious possibility the dam would fail and the cities nearby would flood. Eventually, they ordered an evacuation of the area. Over 188,000 people had to evacuate their homes. Eventually, the water levels did drop down, but this was not before causing a lot of chaos. Interstate H3 Hawaii. This highway located in Hawaii is one of the most picturesque roads in the world. So, you may be asking, what's wrong with it? Well, the estimated budget was $250 million. But the actual cost was more than $1.3 billion. Each kilometer of the road cost around $50 million, making this the most expensive road ever built by kilometer. Critics also say this road is pointless. It was built to connect Pearl Harbor to a Marine Corps base, but this connection is no longer that necessary. Also, many native Hawaiians do not use this road. They consider it to be cursed. That's because many ancient religious sites were destroyed during its construction. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below which was the most useless mega project on this list. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There are some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10.